What up, it's 2776. You already let's get started. Y'all, I'm just sitting here thinking. I'm like, games just are not the same anymore. And what I mean by they're not the same anymore is games just aren't exciting when you get on anymore. You can have fun. They try to add a little bit of longevity by, adding in DLCs. But is it me, or do most of these DLCs that come out feel like they should have been in the game when you purchased it? That's another thing also. Games, am I the only one that's noticed this? Whenever you purchase a game, you're not getting the full game. You're getting like 80-70% of the game, but then they'll drop the DLC, and when you play it, you like, man, they could have put this in the original version of the game. You gotta wait for deluxe or golden editions or season passes or complete editions or something like that. You gotta wait for all that to come out for you to get the full game, or else you purchase it when the DLC comes out. Man, it's just games aren't the same anymore, man. Like, another thing too is, you guys remember when you could turn the game on and you could play every feature of the game, and you would not need an online connection unless you wanted to play online. Like, I mean, I'll just say that was one thing that surprised me. A lot of these games rely heavily on online access to either get more money, or that's just basically where most of their focus is. Prime example is Call of Duty. I know you guys seen that, like, where they got rid of the story mode. That's one of the things that made Call of Duty. Multiplayer was a big part too, but single player was another thing you could look forward to as well. Games like the Modern Warfare series, you're following the storyline. They're doing callbacks from the last game, just in case you didn't play the last game. It was something nice to have a throwback or like a callback from the previous game, and you actually know what's going on. It gives you a reason to play the campaign, and then also you can get used to playing Call of Duty if you never played a Call of Duty game before. But it's things like that, little things like story mode, listening to the audience, to your consumer, seeing what you did bad in the last game and seeing what you can fix in the new one. That's what made gaming fun. But now, when you're playing games, it's almost like they're money hungry. And the reason I say that is, on online features, it's pretty much pay to win. Couldn't even say it right. It's pay to win most of these games. I'll say at least on 2K, man. 2K with the VC issue, that's been an issue since the game came out. You could buy your way to an 80 overall. Now, me, being a cheap man I am, I'm not going to pay real money for in-game currency. I'm not going to do that. I work my way to this 89 that I got right now. Mind you, I should have made them bigger, but oh well. You gotta pay, and the best overall people win, man. It's like when you get to a 90 on 2K, man, your guy is on a whole nother level compared to everybody else. But another thing is too, games aren't relying on their core that started them. Most of these games were out back when the PS2 was pretty much out. Games like 2K Live, Metal Gear, or just a couple games that come to mind. 2K Live is definitely trying to make a comeback compared to what they've been dealing with lately, with games being canceled until they hit Live 18. They've been in a rut ever since 2K passed them, and 2K seems to they're kind of falling into a pit right now, because 2K was labeled one of the worst 2Ks to come out. Like, the game itself isn't that bad. I think the VC issue was such a big issue, it made the game look worse than what it actually was. But you guys already seen my rants. If you haven't, go watch the 2K rant videos I got on 2K. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Ain't no point in me mentioning in this video. But it's just games aren't the same anymore. It seems like the developers or whoever it is that's making these games, they're more focused on the money that they could get within a year or so until the next release comes out. And it's killing the community, because the community is practically calling out for help, saying, guys, you need to fix this, you need to fix that. Why is this in the game? Why isn't this in the game? You guys can do better. You're making millions, billions of dollars on these products. We're paying for extra DLC that should have been in the game. All of these complaints are coming in at one time, and what do most of them tell you? Okay, we got you. Update comes, didn't fix a single problem that you asked for in your previous arguments. None of the stuff is answered. So just gaming just isn't what it used to be, or else they're burning out these good games. Prime example, Devil May Cry. Games like Devil May Cry, Need for Speed, what's another game they're burning out? Tomb Raider, and what's another game? It's a lot more games that's not coming to mind right now. They're just not what they used to be. I mean, it's either the developers, I mean, the consumers are going to buy the games because of the memories they've had with these games. But when you're putting out a classic, something like God of War, I could say God of War is a classic. I'm just using that as an example if you don't believe so. But games like God of War has never fed into the online. I mean, it may have been one game that had an online feature, but that was it. It didn't rely heavily on online. Games like God of War, Last of Us, Metal Gear, that relies heavily on storytelling. Those are the type of games that are at the top right now. Games that rely heavily on multiplayer, like Call of Duty, 2K, Tom Clancy, The Division, and these sports games, Madden, games like that, they're falling below the wayside because they're focusing on the wrong things. Games just are not worried about what the customer has to say anymore, or at least that's what it seems like. You remember when you had the first game of, let's say, Def Jam Vendetta. Most of y'all have played that if you got a PS2. Def Jam Vendetta. When Def Jam Fight for New York came out, was that not one of the best games on PS2? That game came out in like 2004, and if they made a remaster of it, I would still buy it. And it's 2018. I would still buy that game. And then, not to mention, games like Metal Gear have managed to stick around. When games manage to stick around and have longevity, that goes to show you have a good story and good storytelling products. And it has online features, but it's just not mainly that. Games rely too heavily on online and online access and stuff that you can pay for with real money. Games are just running to ruts, man. And I just wish gaming would get back to what it used to do. Listen to the consumers, listen to the people that are buying their games and looking at the feedback and actually fixing the game. If you got to do it one at a time, then do it one at a time. But don't wait till the next game to fix a problem that was on the last game. You see what I'm saying? Oh, it's just things like that, man. It's annoying. It's killing the gaming community till eventually, man, people are going to go to other system or other games, or certain titles are going to be shut down or canceled because the consumer base isn't the same as what it used to be. Gaming just isn't the same anymore, honestly. But that was a couple things that I just wanted to point out in this video. Sorry if it sounded like a ramble, but it was a couple things I wanted to point out. And I know I'm not the only one that agrees with this. But till next time, man, I'll probably come out with a couple more videos like this, man. Just talking about games or certain situations that's going on in the gaming community. But until next time, this has been 27, man. I'm out.